Hello crochet friends, it's me Jonah, and today I will be teaching you how to make these adorable mini nesting baskets. And I made a large one in just a gray, and then a medium one in a mustard, and then a small one striped, and then they all stack or nest together so beautifully, and it's just like a cute little set, and you can customize them all to your own size. But the yarn I'll be using today is Bernat Beyond. It's just like a basic cord yarn, 6 weight. I will be using a 6mm hook. This is a Bloodwood Swirl from Furl's. Then you'll need a scissors, tape measure, and darning needle. Oh, and also, before I begin, I just wanted to tell you, check out my website, jonahhands.com, because we have some patches available. We have brochet, Jonah's hands, and crochet brings the world together one stitch at a time. We have crochet t-shirts like this, and we also are the only place where you can get an autographed book. So make sure to check out jonahhands.com, but without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I'm sliding off my yarn label, finding our end here, okay. It's coming through right here. There we go. Got our end cut. So now to begin, we're going to start with a magic ring. Okay, so you just kind of wrap around 2 fingers like so, just with the short end facing towards you, and then just pull the loop, and then just drop your first index finger. That's simple. And then just pull the working yarn up through the back. Then you have this loop. Okay? You'll insert your hook into the top of the loop. Then you can just sort of pull it tight, but not all the way, or else it'll turn into a slip knot. See, you have a ring, and then it's adjustable. Okay, so now we're going to begin our first round at the base in single crochet. So to begin, we have to wrap our yarn. You go to the back, and then back around the front. You pull through one. Just like this. The first stitch of a chain can always be a little fiddly of magic ring. Then you have that. So then you insert in your loop here. And then you pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. Okay? So that was your first single crochet. You see the 2 V's here? Then you insert back into your ring, pull up another loop, so you have 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Now you have 2, insert, pull up, pull through 2. That's 3. Do it again, 4. Then you have to do that all the way up to 6. And that was 5. And then there's 6. And now I'm going to tell you how to close the ring and then start your next row. So all you have to do, you can just undo the string and then push it out through the back. And then you just pull that tight. Then you see how it looks sort of like a semicircle? Then you'll come around and insert into the top of your single crochet right here. Just go straight into the top and pull through a loop, so you have 2, and then just pull the first one through the second, just like so. Then once you have that, well, there you go, you have your first row at the base, and then you'll keep working around in a spiral form. So we'll chain 1 to start a round, and go into our first stitch right here, right up here, by your chain. Pull up a loop. There you go. Now you have 2. Yarn over, pull through both loops. You have your next single crochet. And to increase, you'll have to go back into that same stitch, pull up another loop, and then single crochet. Now you see how it looks like you have 2 stitches coming out of the same stitch? It's because you do, and that's how you increase. So now you go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, that's your single crochet again in that same stitch, and then after you begin it just becomes a more repetitive motion, and you have to be careful to catch both loops, which is just like 1, 2, you got to go through both like so. And then once you keep working around, you just leave that tail on the back, just leave it there. And then at the end of this round, you're going to have 12 stitches. That was 9. And then, there we go. Now we're completed with that round. So we have the strand in the back, we'll just pull it tight to kind of close it off. Then we'll come over here and slip stitch into our top of the first single crochet. Okay, there we go, we have first 2 rounds. And now we have to chain 1 and then single crochet into that first same stitch and then do it again, so we have the increase. And now you're probably thinking you're going to increase into the next stitch, but really you're just going to do 1 single crochet, just like that. So you have 2, 1, then you're going to do another 2, just like so. Then you're going to do 1, like so. And you keep going in this fashion around, but the way you increase to make the base as big as you want in circumference, diameter, radius, and so on, you just, the next round you'll do an increase, which is 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and then the next 2 stitches you'll just put 1, and then you'll do, next round you'll do 1 increase, 3 regular stitches, and then 1 increase, 4 regular stitches, and so on and so forth, repeating that pattern until you get to the diameter or circumference you want. Okay, so here we go. I'll be finishing up my 3rd round now. And so right now I'm just going to be just demonstrating our small size for you guys. So I'll pull it out right here and I'll show you how to count your rows. So at the base here, you see how it looks like we have 5 rows, and then the last one it's 2, 3, 2. That's how it'll increase and spiral out. And then I'll show you how to do the mini bean stitch. But for the next row, you'll chain 1, do 2 single crochet like I have been showing you at the start of all of our rows so far. Then you'll go in for another single crochet, just like we have been doing, another one. So there we have 4 stitches, 2, 1, 1, 2. Then we'll have to do 1, 1 again. And you can use any sort of yarn that has a cord-like quality, like a knit tube texture. I'm just using Bernat Beyond because I really like the variegated look. Oh, and by the way, today's color is Stormy Sky Variegated. And you can see how you get these points and it keeps growing out. And these points are your increase points. And this is where you offset it every single time to get your own stitch count, and that is how your work begins and continues to grow out. Okay, here we are. And it gets faster and more repetitive. And when you're making this kind of basket, you don't want a flimsy basket by any means, so it's best to go down a couple hook sizes. For example, the yarn recommends an 8mm, but I am using a 6. You can even use a 5, but a 4 just a little too tight for the yarn. It'll be too tight. And another great thing about these baskets is that you can put a little plastic canvas on the side and then make some single crochet and then fold it down to reinforce it. But based on how small of a hook you're using and the size of the yarn, that's not necessary. Okay. Now we will just finish this round like so. And then now we just have to do one last round, and then we can start working our mini bean stitch. Okay, so here we go. Started with an increase. 1, 2, 3, like in our mini nesting basket. Small one in our set. Keeps going like this, and these barely use up any yarn. Like the large one uses around 100 yards, medium around 80, small one just like very small, 60 max. But that's because you have more mini bean stitches as you keep working up and around. And as you can see, that's what we're doing. And we still have all of our increase points. You'll have 6 increases every single round. Okay, like so. Here we go. It's coming along very well. And this is the pattern you have to follow with like the 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Continue in that format to get the size base you will like. Oops, hook slip there. Okay, just have to do 3 more plain single crochets. Not any fancy increase points or anything. Okay, there we go. We have our rows equivalent to the bottom of our nesting basket. And now we want to begin to work up the side. Okay, so here we go. That's our base. See? We want to begin to work up the sides of our basket. Now, in the mini bean stitch shown right here, it creates like these little bobbles or beans, and then offsets them so they go up in a spiral. Okay, so to do that, you're going to have to chain 1. And we'll be working in the back loops. As you can see, there's a line here around the circumference of the base. That's created by working in the back loops. So you insert one. For example, here's one loop right here. The front loop facing towards you. The back loop facing away from you. But you go into the back loop only. Pull up a loop like you would during a single crochet. But then you wrap again and insert back into that stitch. Okay? Then you yarn over, pull through all, and then yarn over and pull through 1 to make the chain. Then you have your first mini bean stitch. You insert into your next designated stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert again, pull up, go into your next designated back loop, pull up, yarn over and go insert into again, yarn over, insert again, yarn over, pull through all of the loops on your hook, chain 1, but every time you're doing this you're skipping a stitch because the mini bean stitch counts as 2. Okay, so here we go. We just keep working our way around. You'll see the little arrow line across the around the circumference at the base of your mini nesting basket. Okay, here we go. You can see it forming right there on the side, mini beans. Okay, here we go. So we just keep working around, just pass a little bit halfway through the row. Just like so, we'll just continue. Just pulling through all of these loops, chaining 1, stitching into our last spot, chaining one, skipping our last single crochet like we have been. Okay, now we have our first row of the mini bean stitch. Now we're going to start our next row. So all you have to do is chain one and start into that same stitch, pull up a loop like you would do in single crochet, but then you yarn over, insert back into that space and pull up a loop. Okay? So then you'll yarn over, pull through all of your loops, chain one. Okay, next mini bean stitch, yarn over, pull up all of your loops, go through, yarn over, chain one, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, pull through all. Then since you have bigger gaps now and you're not working into those tight chain spaces from your base, it begins to speed up. See, as you come across, you just have to keep working in this same format around and around until you reach the end of your second row. And I did 6 rows for my nesting baskets, and the set I just showed you at the start of the video in the gold and light charcoal color. So yeah, I did 6, and right now I will just be finishing up row number 2. Just like so. So you just like this, you're just going into your next slip stitch. You're chaining one, inserting back into the stitch. The first one's always slow and fiddly. And now we just have to keep doing this around. This will be row number 3. Okay, here we go. See how it's coming out in a spiral? These baskets take a while because of the stitch. It eats up your yarn fast, but once you see the finished project, it was worth all the extra effort. And there's many cool ways to make these sets. You can go with like the big one in a solid color like I did with the gray. Then the middle one can be striped gray and gold, and then the small one can be gold, or you could stripe them how I did. There's endless possibilities to customize these to make them their own, your own. Okay, just like this, coming across for row number 3. And also, guys, another thing that just happened on my website that you guys should check out is that I just put up a blog post about some really cool hooks I received from a company, but all I can say is that they're in Burbank, but you should just go on my website, Jonah Hands, and check out that blog. Well, actually, I'll tell you what brand it is, so then you'll get really excited. It's the leading brand in luxury crochet hooks, and it is none other than Furl's. And right now I'm actually using a Furl's hook, and this is one of their limited edition acrylic bloodwood swirls. It's one of my favorites. Here we go. Be careful not to go in the gaps and to go into your stitches. But if you decided to go into the gaps, that would give you a whole new puff look, which would be a pretty cool stitch. Boom, just like so, we're getting each of our mini bean stitches. Right here we have, this is our 4th row, and you can see all of the stitches still spiraling up, but it just goes higher and higher. Okay, just like so. Just gonna pull out some yarn. Okay guys, see, this is how easy it is to make these adorable mini nesting baskets. And you could actually add a big loop on the end and then make them into like plant holders, hanging baskets. You can just have fun with these. Okay, here we go. Just keep continuing with our 4th row. Chain 1, keep doing your mini bean stitch. Eats up a lot of yarn in these baskets, but really turns out amazing. They're great for home decor and like hiding like remote controls, concealing remote controls, things like that. They're good for like putting your little crochet needles in. Like for example, the one I have right here, you can just put it right in there and they're the perfect height. And you can put your tape measures in there too. Anything your heart desires, you can customize this to fit. See, we're coming up in the end of our 4th row. Just like so. Here we go. Next stitch over. Boom. Chain 1. Insert. There we go. We'll just have to do 2 more rows of this bean stitch now. Here we go. It's still forming up in that beautiful spiral that we all love. And you can use the base of this basket tutorial to make any basket. You could exchange the mini bean stitch for the Celtic weave. You could exchange it for the moss stitch and then just reinforce the sides. That would be a very good look because it'd kind of line it if you chose a different color. And to make this even more fun, you could just like use fun colors, stripe it. You could like checker it or make it in a plaid format. Lots of fun things you can do with this. Okay, here we are. We're going to be nearing the end in just a while. See how fast it's working up? Like, you don't expect baskets to work up this fast, but it's a nice chunky stitch. Okay, here we go. Boom, that was our 5th row. Now I just have to do 6. And then I'll show you how I like to finish off the top. To reinforce the top, because we've reinforced the bottom, the sides, but not the top. And we want everyone to have the equivalent. So that's what we're gonna do right after we finish up crocheting our 6th round of the mini. Okay, here we go. Coming across just like so. And also another thing I forgot to tell you guys is about, keep a watch on my website jonahhands.com, because there will be some new t-shirt designs coming to our website soon, and you guys should really check them out because they're gonna be awesome. Okay, so here we go. And yeah, and there's also a ton of new sizes for kids, adults, and everything beyond and below that. So everyone can get a cool crochet shirt, because we want to spread crochet throughout the world and basically just do what that patch says. Crochet brings the world together, one stitch at a time. Okay, here we go. Working up really fast. Rows 5 and 6 seem to work up the fastest for me. That's because they become looser and then you have more space to work your stitches into. Like boom, boom. Last stitch. Chain 1, slip stitch. Okay, here we are. Here we have just our mini basket using the bean stitch. But now we'll just have to finish it off with a round of slip stitch, excuse me, and then we'll be completed. So you go into the top of the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through so you get that arrow look. Arrow it again, and start in the next stitch, pull through a loop, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch again. Keep slip stitching around, and how you can see how it gives you the reinforced top, because it gives it an arrow that kind of like divides the beams, and then the top. Yeah, it's always a little difficult to go into the top of those stitches because the chain one gets dragged down by the next bean stitch. So you really have to like get your hook deep into that stitch and then pull the yarn back through and out. See how it's reinforcing the top? Then I just love the way that this variegated basket's turning out. It's amazing. Okay, yeah, and another thing about this top is that if you're running short on yarn, no worries, slip stitch barely takes up any yarn. So you just slip the yarn through both loops, you just insert, slip it through both loops. It's that easy to work the slip stitch. And if you wanted, you could even do a slip stitch like I'm showing you on the top, on the bottom, to have both sides arrowed, but that's not necessary since it's a flat, reinforced base already. Boom, and then single crochet, slip stitch into your last stitch right now, and then it'll look better once you get all our entries in and it's formatted. Just snip that. Take our needle from inside our little mini nesting basket. Just thread your darning needle. Can be a little fiddly with the tube yarn, but you'll get used to it. You can just snip it from another area, and then you can just twist it and push it through again. Here I have like the basic metal blunt tip needles. Any work, but I really prefer this kind, since they pick up your stitches very well. And you can just go into the arrows on the back side here where they won't be seen. Just like so, weaving it in and out until you feel it secure. Then if you worked over the one and down there, you can just snip that. If you worked over that, and you can just kind of center it and maneuver it the way you want. And then I'll put it right over here, showing you guys our mini nesting basket. And now I'm going to show you the rest. Of my mustard set. So we have the gray one, we have the big gray one, then we have the medium mustard one, and then right in the middle we have our small one. And now we're going to have another set just like this, and you guys write in the comments how you think I should style out this set. But I wanted to thank you all for watching today's tutorial on how to make these little mini nesting baskets. They're so amazing as gifts and just for you to help organize your house. And just remember, it's a chunky 6 or 5 cord yarn with a smaller hook, and you should really make these baskets. And goodbye and crochet away, friends.